C.com. Then call them with your questions at 512-0000. That's 512-0000. That's every second Friday at 11 a.m. for Trinity Healthcare Medical Center here on The Source WOCA.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 20 minutes after 10 o'clock. Gosh, this is what happens when you don't get any sleep, Robin. You look at the clock backwards. Okay.
I know, my plane was 3 hours late.
20 minutes, okay. I've been doing radio since 1984. I've been doing talk shows since about 88. You came on board about 90, so we've both been doing talk shows for a long time. And the listeners in our community have heard us on the radio for a very, very long time. And the listeners, if you're a regular listener, you've heard us talk to lots of people about lots of topics. Mm-hmm. What you don't hear, though, is us ever talking to anybody who's going to try to sell you snake oil.
No.
And I'm going to tell you a real quick story because it has to do with what we're going to talk about right now. I refused one time to do a paid interview, okay? That's called an infomercial. I refused to do it because the person paying was selling an oil, literally an oil, that went in your bathtub that he said cured Alzheimer's disease.
Yeah.
And this was probably 15 years ago. Okay. I had spent about 3 years working at an assisted living facility. I spent a lot of time in the memory support unit where they have a lot of Alzheimer's patients. And my statement to him, because I interviewed him before we did the interview, so I did an off-air interview, in other words. And I said to him, why don't you just take this to if I had this, I would bring it to every nursing home. I would give him the formula. I would just give it away. Just heal all these people. Well, because it was nonsense, Robin. It was nothing. And so I said, no, I'm not going to do the interview. I just didn't do the interview. Well, the fact that our next guest is coming on means I do have confidence in what this next guest is going to talk about. And why? Because there's a huge book, lots of research, and 15 years has passed and more, because I'm sure this goes way before the nut case we had, almost had.
Exactly.
Dr. Dale I don't know his last name. Thank you, Bredesen. Mm-hmm. He's an expert in the mechanisms of neurodegenerative diseases. He's a professor of neurology at UCLA. He directed the program on aging at the Burnham Institute. He's the founding president and CEO of the Buck Institute and the chief medical officer at MPI Cognition. I honestly don't know most of those things, but I did look at the book. The book is called The End of Alzheimer's, the first program to prevent and reverse cognitive decline. Let's find out how high we can get our hopes from Dr. Dale Bredesen. I have him on because I trust him. Good morning, sir. How are you? What an honor.
Good morning, Robin and Larry. Thanks very much for having me on. And you're absolutely right about snake oil. There are a lot of people out there making a lot of claims. I'm a scientist. I'm a neuroscientist by training and neurologist. We've been studying in the lab for 30 years, and I have to say I thought I would probably grow old and die studying transgenic mice. So it's been really exciting to see the first people, and we reported back in 2014 in a peer-reviewed scientific journal, the first reversals of cognitive decline in Alzheimer's disease.
That is awesome.
So we're very excited about it, and I go into, in the book, a number of, as you probably saw if you looked at the book, the different people and how they improved, the scores that improved. These are people with well-documented Alzheimer's and pre-Alzheimer's.
My gosh. And you know, Billy Joel and Mick Jagger are always going to be more famous than you, but you deserve to be more famous by making those discoveries. Do you know what I wanted to tell you? And I have a question about this. When I worked for 3 years at an assisted living facility, and every once in a while, one of the ladies and maybe some of the men seem to get it worse. And the women seem to get it bad, but it was slower. And I'm not a doctor, so I don't even want to bring that up. But what I want to ask you about is this. Every once in a while, it would seem like they would slip out of it. Almost like that movie. What was that movie?
Yeah.
The Notebook.
The Notebook. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I would say to the doctor, whoever came in, she slipped out of it for about 5 minutes. She was out of it. And then they would go, no, that just appears to be, nobody slips out of it. What is the truth to that? Can somebody slip out of it, like for a moment?
So yes, you do have periods where your cognition is better and worse. Just as you know if you stay up all night, your cognition is going to be worse.
Yeah.
So you do have these periods, and sometimes it'll last a day, that sort of thing, where you'll get better and worse. But as you know, it's been inexorable decline. So you may be a little better, you may be a little worse, but it's a downhill slope overall. That's what we reversed. Absolutely the most exciting thing about these patients that have come through, and there are over 1,000 now who are on this program, is that when they get better, they stay better. We have people now who are 5.5 years into this who would have been otherwise in nursing homes, and these people have remained very, very high functioning, still at their jobs, etc. So as long as they stay on the program, they stay with the sustained improvement.
For the listener's sake, the book will tell you everything, but I'm hoping I can get some free samples from you. Is this something you eat, something you drink, something you rub on your skin, or something you do physically?
Right, so that's the complicated part. Here's the trick. In the 20th century, of course, we were very successful with infectious disease, and so we had this model, you're going to give penicillin for pneumococcal pneumonia. So the model is every disease, we're going to give a single drug. Well, that is a checkers strategy for a chess match. We're now into where all of us are dying of complex chronic illnesses. Number 1, cardiovascular, number 2, cancer, and actually number 3 now is Alzheimer's. And by the way, in the UK, dementia is now the number 1 cause of death. So these are fundamentally different than getting pneumonia from a bacterium. And so the old idea of giving a single thing no longer works. And that's why we have been so unsuccessful on the whole with Alzheimer's. So that what we developed looks directly at the biochemistry. You look at all the different factors that are contributing. And what we tell the patients is, imagine you have a roof with 36 holes in it, because that was the original number of mechanisms we discovered, and we're going to now patch every single one of those holes. And, patching one is not going to help you that much, so you need to patch them all. And this is a program, personalized, computer-generated, and yes, it has to do with whether you drive yourself into ketosis, something which occurs when you are low on your carbohydrates. So it does have to do with a diet that we call KetoFlex 12-3. Exercise, stress, sleep. Do you have sleep apnea? Brain training. What is your specific vitamin D level, estradiol level? What is your HSCRP? Do you have exposure to specific toxins? All of these things contribute to this balance. You know that when someone gets osteoporosis, they have imbalance in their bone formation versus taking up the bone, so-called osteoblasts versus osteoclasts.
Right,
this is no different. So same idea. You have to look at all the different contributors.
And you have made your book come alive because this month you are starring in a documentary that actually follows your patients.
Very good point. So the documentary is actually going to be out in a couple of months. So yes, originally scheduled for this month. That's absolutely true. They're following up on some of the patients, in real time, showing them improve over time. So should be out in February. But yes, this follows patients and shows them as they improve and talks to family members. The stories with the family members are so striking.
Doctor, can I ask you a question? The book is called The End of Alzheimer's, and I'm not an expert on this, but what I understand is there's more than one type of dementia. Alzheimer's is one type of dementia. Does the program prevent and reverse other types of dementia besides Alzheimer's?
Yeah, and we do not have data on that yet, so it's a very good question. We're beginning to look at that. People, for example, with Lewy body dementia, there are 1 million Americans who have Lewy body dementia. And even within Alzheimer's itself, we discovered that there are subtypes, and published that back in 2015. And so there's type 1, type 2, type 3, and in fact the program works best for type 1 and 1.5, then type 2, then type 3. But it does work for all of them. So yes, Alzheimer's is one cause of dementia, but it's by far the most common one.
Well, if you could measure a thank you, I'm giving you a huge one because I think this might be the most important interview of the week. But an even bigger one for the work you're doing, because that is very important. I have a copy of the book, The End of Alzheimer's. Call me if you want it. The rest of us have to go buy it. Give us some ways to buy the book. We've got like 10 seconds.
Yeah, so you can get it on Amazon. You can get it from Barnes and Noble. You can get it at your local bookstore. Lots of ways to get it. In fact, it was actually up to number 4 on Amazon. It launched yesterday, and it was actually the 4th highest-selling book out of the 8 million on Amazon. So lots of interest in the book so far.
Well, thank you for taking the time to be on the radio to share this with us. I see the phone's lit up on the other side, so we'll give the book away after during the break. Dr. Dale E.
Fantastic.
Bredesen, anybody, if you're listening, call us later on. I'll be able to give you any information you missed and repeat it for you. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Larry.
You're
Thanks.
welcome.
Bye-bye.
We'll be right back.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 629-2440. In addition to our pasture mowing service, we also offer fence row spraying and stump grinding services. Now is the perfect time to get ahead on your weed control and to take care of those troublesome stumps for an overall pleasing appearance. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 629-2440, or online at powellgene@yahoo.com. We are licensed and insured. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 629-2440.
Coming this and every second Friday of the month at 11 a.m. is Trinity Healthcare Medical Center with your host, Dr. David Kuhn. Trinity Healthcare Medical Center is Ocala's only progressive primary care clinic. Be sure to listen in and also check their website at thcmc.com. Then call them with your questions at 512-0000. That's 512-0000. That's every second Friday at 11 a.m. for Trinity Healthcare Medical Center here on The Source WOCA.
Here is your 30-second news brief. A 23-year-old man with a gun threatening to commit suicide died yesterday in a standoff with police in Daytona Beach. A Lady Lake woman lost her leg when she intentionally steered her motorcycle into another vehicle on I-75 in an attempt to commit suicide. The developer of 3,000 acres of land on State Road 200 is challenging the Marion County Commission's decision to reject development plans for that land. And the Powerball jackpot has surged to $700 million. And that is your news brief from The Source.
If you or a loved one is suffering with knee, shoulder, neck, back pain, or tennis elbow and would like to learn how to get out of pain, go to Regenetic.com. Then listen in on the first and third Thursday at 10 a.m. to the people that give you the regenerative medical solutions to your pain. Regenetic, first and third Thursdays, 10 a.m. here on WOCA 96.3 FM, 1370 AM. The Source, Regenetic.com.
Langley Health Services, located at 7205 Southeast Merricamp Road in Ocala, is a federally qualified health center offering family practice, pediatrics, podiatry, dental, behavioral health, and radiology services. Most insurance accepted, sliding scale for those who qualify, and same-day appointments available until 4 p.m. with board-certified family practice and internal medicine physicians on staff. Langley Health Services, call today 352-680-7000. What do I do now?
After 911, don't worry, call Fakuri. Fakuri Medical and Chiropractic, treating auto injuries for over 32 years. Same-day appointments, immediate medical attention, all under one roof. Don't worry, call Fakuri. Go to bestinjurycare.com